Alright, so this is going to be kind of like a different video I usually do, but I kind of just want to talk about the Los Angeles Clippers and what do I think about the situation they're in, because I wouldn't say, well, it's definitely interesting to talk about, but if you guys like this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. And also I have social medias, you guys can check that out, blah, blah, blah. Okay, straight to the point. So, the Clippers, have a very interesting team this year. I would say it's better than last year's team. And we all know, of course, the Clippers blew that 3-1 lead to the Nuggets. The 3-1 kids come back, whatever you want to call that. And yeah, but again, I would say they have a better team. They have players like Nicholas Batum, who was considered one of the more overpaid players, and of course he got bought out, so now he's on a minimal contract. But yeah, he was an amazing pickup for this team, and I honestly did not think he would have contributed this good to this team. He's only averaging 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists, but he's shooting efficiently. He's playing his role, and that's literally all the Clippers could ask for. And DeMarcus Cousins is a new addition to this team. He's a good center for them. Again, I kind of wish we could see Prime Boogie again, but that's long gone. But he's averaging 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists for the season. And he was on a 10-day contract, but they signed him for the rest of the season. And it's going to be interesting to see how he performs in the playoffs, what he does. Is he going to get a lot of minutes? How is he going to fit in? Well, we already see how he fits with the team, and it's pretty well. But if he's playing better than, for example, Serge Ibaka, will he get more playing time maybe? Or will they try to get the more proven option in Serge, or the more healthier option? And there's also another few other new additions and options, but the main one I want to talk about is Rajon Rondo. And it's going to be interesting to see how Rajon Rondo helps his team out, because as we all know, when the playoffs come around, Rajon Rondo usually turns it up. He can be considered a floor and ceiling raiser, but I would have leaned more towards ceiling raiser. He just helps teams win, and he's had a few stops in his career that made it seem like his career was going downwards, but then the Lakers definitely helped out his situation and eventually won a championship with him, of course, being the only player in NBA history to win a championship with the Lakers and Celtics, of course, with being huge rivals. But yeah, like I said before, he had a few stops in his career that made it seem like his career was going to go downhill. The main one to come up in my mind is Dallas, where they were that 1 year in Dallas. The Bulls was all right. Pelicans, he was good. And then when he got to the Lakers, it was amazing. And then he eventually signed with the Hawks, where he played all right. But playing with the Clippers is going to be very interesting, in my opinion, because the Clippers have a scheme where they needed a lot more playmaking, and they give up a huge piece of the team in Lou Williams. I cannot think of his name for a second, but they did give up a piece of the team that really helped out the team. He was in 6th Man of the Year conversations the past few years and even won a few. But even though Rajon Rondo is getting up there in age, he still can be a good player for you. For the Clippers, he is averaging 7 points and 5 assists. It's not nothing too big, but you can tell his impact is greatly bigger than the stat sheet. He just sets everybody up. He can shoot a lot better now, because if back then Rajon Rondo was not really a 3-point shooter, or a consistent one to be more exact. But he's really helped out his game, especially in the playoffs. He usually turns it up and just become one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. And it's quite interesting to just see how that stuff works. But yeah, Rajon Rondo is going to be a big piece for this team. And with the Clippers not getting much national attention as they did before, if you want to compare it to just how the bubble went for the Clippers and just the embarrassment and just them blowing that 3-1 lead and being all over Twitter that one night, that was the most legendary night on Twitter. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But just the Clippers, they're better. I've seen a few people say this, and I truly agree with it, so I'm just going to repeat it. The Clippers are much better when they're just not on national attention. They're just low-key, because, for example, people just love to clown Paul George and just act like he's not an amazing player, which he still is, and if you think he's not, there is something wrong there. But yeah, people just like to think badly of Paul George. He's still an amazing player. He's still an all-star. And people were having conversation about him being traded, but he's having an amazing season. And I made a video in the past. It was actually one of my first videos, I believe. But I was about basically Paul George being extended by the Clippers. And I questioned it. Yeah, I definitely questioned it. But people just need to realize Paul George is still a good player. He's honestly underrated now, and that's crazy because if you remember the stuff that was going on after that 3-1 lead was blown, you know what I'm talking about. But again, they still have reliable pieces on this team from last year's team, as in like Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi, and Marcus Morris Sr., who are mainly just their reliable pieces in my opinion. And like I said, they do have more pieces and depth to the team, and I would say it is better. And Luke Kennard was an amazing piece to trade for. He is inconsistent in my opinion, and he could be a lot better, and I know he could be a lot better than he's been playing, but he's still gonna be a great piece for this team. He's still young-ish. He can help this team out, and yeah, he got a decent contract from this team, and it should pay out eventually. But if I want to think about who can the Clippers possibly beat in the playoffs, well, if the season ended today, they'd actually be facing the Lakers. As they're recording this video, they would be facing the Lakers, a 3-6 matchup, and that's interesting because for the fact that that's a first round matchup, that's gonna be entertaining if both teams are healthy, and that's definitely a treat for us. But I feel like they have a chance to beat the Lakers, honestly, especially how the Lakers has been recently. And even when they've been held healthy, they still have been struggling. And it's honestly questionable to see, can the Lakers repeat and do everything they need to do? But I just want to see better from the team. But can they beat teams like the Suns, who's actually the first seed in the West right now? And that's actually a debate because Chris Paul is Chris Paul. He is helping this team go over the top. But can they beat teams like Utah, Denver, maybe even Dallas? Who knows? But yeah, I'm very excited for this postseason because I was thinking about making a video on this, but this postseason is most likely to have the most upsets in the East and West. It's so many things I could talk about that video. I'm not sure if I will make that video, but it was just an idea. But yeah, I'm just gonna be tuning into the playoffs for sure once it's coming in soon, and I believe the play-in starts May 18th, I believe, so it is coming up soon. And yeah, so far in the Western Conference, at least, the Blazers, Warriors, Memphis, and Spurs would be in the actual play-in, so that's going to be interesting, to say the least. And if you guys don't know how the play-in works, I'll just explain that for you real quick because I know a few people don't actually know how it works. Basically, it'll be the 7th and 10th seed matching up and the 8th and 9th seed matching up. And the higher seed of the two would have to win one game, while the lower seed would have to win two. And whoever, for example, if the lower seed beats them twice, then they would get that 8th seed, or, you know, whatever the matchup is wise. But then if the higher seed only beats them one time, yeah, they would get that spot in the playoffs. But yeah, that'll be it for today's video. I just wanted to try something out new today. I just wanted to have like a little conversation with you guys in a way. I know you guys can't hear me, but of course, but I just wanted to like just sit down and talk about what do I think about this team, of course, as the Clippers. I might do this with other teams depending on how this does, but it's just something kind of new. It's not really something I'm like taking notes for, or just, it's just talking about my ideas and thoughts and stuff like that. And I hope you guys like this. But yeah, like I said before, I might make other videos about this. I have a few teams I could talk about potentially and do something with. But yeah, if you guys want to see more videos on this and me just talking about teams and how I think they're gonna do and stuff like that, just leave a like. I'll greatly appreciate that. And yeah, because I love making these type of videos. Just not too much editing, just, you know, just straight up talking to you guys, saying what's up. I really want to see you guys comments on what do you guys think about this team in the comments, because yeah, I just love hearing you guys' opinions on this type of stuff. But yeah, with that being said, that'll be the end of today's video. Leave a like, maybe subscribe if you want to. I can't force you to do anything. But yeah, I don't know how to end this, so I'm just gonna oh yeah, one more thing actually.